Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space Channel. I am live at 7:05, and here we go. We are going to start by showing you where I'm at. Sorry about that. I moved the cup around yesterday morning. I never did get it back to how it was. The cup tilted, like my cup is over kind of thing. But today I'm still kind of recovering from my trip and getting things ready for the sale. And I need to pack some things up to send to Misty. And at Skeeter Jones, she does jewelry repair. Need to email her and say, hey, do you really want this jewelry? Actually, I'll just let her sell it. Oh, I found it. Or did the other one fall out? Yeah, I found it. I'm not good at this kind of thing. Hang on. Let me find the box. Because if I put it all in the box, there's a hope of it all getting back together. How are you all doing this morning? So here we go. Putting one earring in one side, one in the other. Okay, that's ready to go out the door. I'm going to send it in this nice box to protect it from further damage. Going to have me a bit of honey. I got these from Victoria. Adventures with Victoria. And yesterday I misspoke about Victoria. I owe her an apology. I had gone on this trip and not realized Victoria was out of town. Or not, I was out of town. She was in town. And she decided to order 2 pallets from Amazon and sell, I guess, like Ella does. And just as she ordered the 2 pallets, she was trying to get her space ready because you didn't really have enough space. Good morning, Ashley. I don't really understand what you're saying. I don't know if you're from a foreign country or you're just doing abbreviations. Florida, no, G, F, B, Chifton, CG. Okay. But I'm having a bit of honey this morning. But to finish my situation that I messed up yesterday and saying Victoria was going to be on, she wasn't on. And just as she was getting her space ready for this pallet, or these 2 pallets she had incoming, they lost electricity. And not just for like the day, like there's something wrong with their electrical unit, lost electricity. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Good morning, Rudy. I'm having some bit of honey. Mmm. They're causing my jaws to pop. Mmm. But it's good. Mmm. This tastes really, really good. Mmm. Mmm. How are you doing today, Rudy? Are you in New Zealand? I forget where you're from. I think this necklace. Now this is gorgeous. I had another one over here that's similar. Good morning, Pierre. I'm just going to call you Pierre. Let's see. Message held for review. Okay, I'm going to hide that message because I'm not sure what you're getting at. But, okay. Potentially inappropriate message is held for review. Got it. Now I want to view the message. It's not letting me view the message. Okay, message held for review. It seems like a stream of consciousness talk to me. And, you know, if I understood what you were saying, I wouldn't really mind it all that much. But not knowing what you're getting at, I don't think so. And now you're spamming my chat with emojis. I forget what the rules are. I was reaching into this bag. Oh, no. Some of it fell. This necklace arrived completely broken. And there was another piece damaged. So I'm just going to put all of this back in the bag. And I'm going to mail it off to be repaired. I'm going to email the person and say, I'm going to just give you all this. And if you want to sell it money, if you make a generous amount of money, I would expect a tip back. But other than that, I'm good. So here we go. Yeah, please speak English. I'm not unfriendly to anyone that I'm not one of those, you've got to speak English in this country kind of person. I'm not that at all. But if whatever you're saying in my chat room, I'm responsible for the content of what you're saying. So this is a situation where I have to, take responsibility for what you're saying. And if I don't know what you're saying, I can't do that. So, that's what I'm going to do. If I understood what you were saying and it was cool, I'll allow it. So you're not listening to me either. I don't know if it's because you don't speak English yourself and you don't understand what I'm saying, but I'm going to put you in timeout for 5 minutes, and hopefully you'll understand that you need to speak English and you need to speak words that are understood, because I have to be responsible for whatever words you put into chat. I'm friendly to foreign people. I just can't take responsibility for something I don't know what somebody's saying. So have a nice day. If that irked you off to the point where you're like, oh, I'm going to leave, if you're to that point, go ahead and leave. This is my chat room, such as it is. It wasn't this one. It was another necklace that I need to find. Good morning. Crafting with love. I'm having some bitter honey. How are you doing this morning? I guess I could hum. Okay. So, Johnny, did you know what they were saying? Good morning, Johnny. I'm in straight up YouTube. Can you get Google Translate in straight up YouTube? Thank you so much. I'm looking for pieces to send to somebody to repair. And I had another set like this. Oh, Johnny's in here. I need to do this anyway. I recently got this sea bead necklace from Johnny. It doesn't show up really well because this is a black background, but Sirius multi-strand cobalt blue sea bead, and it is just to die for. Yeah, I've already told somebody else I'm going to have them fix my jewelry. For now, I opened a pair of earrings yesterday, and a piece fell off of it. And I love ordering jewelry, but I don't do craft at all. And I don't buy craft. And the person I bought it for sent me a couple of pieces that had issues. And so I'm not buying from that person anymore. Not naming them either, but certainly wasn't Johnny. Johnny sends the most beautiful jewelry. But there's a lot of jewelry out there that needs love. I'm so happy when I run across somebody that recycles and reuses stuff. But I pass craft along. But I don't hardly ever get it because people know that I don't do craft. That I order complete pieces that are functional and don't need any repairs. Now, I got this from the same person, and it's not broken, but it does need to be redone because it's so getting some wear on it to the point where it's not stretching back all that well. And it's these are nice and cold. And can be, I think these are real stone. But how many more times am I going to put it on that it's going to break everywhere? So definitely time to restring it. I've got a lot of bracelets like that. But I'm going to be on Johnny's on the first Tuesday in June. And I have been telling people it's June 2nd, but lo and behold, It's June the 3rd. Sunday's June the 1st. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Crafting with Love. That's good to know. Yeah, there. I had one piece. I'm looking for it. It was hanging out with this piece, but I had put it up for sale. And when I was putting it up for sale, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's dirty." And I did say, I showed it that the dust was included, but I didn't feel good about it. I wouldn't have felt good about sending it out the door with it dirty like that. And it had some stuff around the edges. I didn't know if it was rust or what. I got 3 kitty cat spoons. I think I got these from Debbie and Max. And I was going to pass them along to a certain group of people, and then that group of people moved on. And it happens, It's like, well, okay. I love it when I'm about to do something really nice for somebody and they do something unnice to me. So it's like, or, they're just meh about me. So, I just move on. And whatever gifts or what I was going to do for them, that moves on too. Because I don't, a lot of times, tell people, what I'm planning on doing as far as giving stuff away or this or that. So it's kind of funny. I'm like, well, God answered the prayer. Wow. Is there anybody that could translate that? It's a beautiful language. It almost looks like Hebrew. I'll give everybody a minute if anybody has the ability to translate that. I might be kind of oh, here's another piece. I want to sell this one soon too. Now this is a man's piece. And this is befitting someone from the Society of Creative Anachronisms. Oh, it's kind of stuck on the latch. And move it around. Yeah, this would fit into 15th century garb. You believe it's Chinese? It's beautiful looking language. Yes, I know, but you don't, I don't know what you're saying. And, whatever is put on the chat, I'm responsible for it. What language do you speak? Can you put the name of your language in English in the chat so we could figure it out? Yeah, I'm just on my phone. I don't have the capability of copying and pasting right now and figuring out. Oh, speaking of honey, this is honey lotion. I'm going to go ahead and put that on. After I count pieces for this puzzle box came loose and all the pieces fell out. I need to make sure I've got all the pieces. Let's see, what does it say here? Mini puzzle, 12 pieces. Is it Chinese? It could be, now that you've said that, it could be Pakistani or Afghan. Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 13 pieces. And said it was 12 pieces. So I still wonder if I got all the pieces. because it said 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's got 13. Well, that is so weird. Okay, I'm going to put the pieces and the box down in a bag, and I'll have to work it later. Okay, thank you, Johnny. Because good morning, Jonathan. And I'm not your babe. There's nobody on YouTube that can call me babe. And I don't really like Sweetie Honey Dear either. My father has passed away. My brother's not inclined to call me, which I'm grateful for. And I don't know where my husband is, and I have no boyfriend. So there's not really anybody left on the planet that can call me Sweetie Honey or babe. I don't like, that kind of familiarity. I'm not on YouTube for dating. And, God bless all of you that are here for, that kind of activity. But it's just not the phase of life I'm in at all. So, and I think it's funny when people react to me through sexual politics, like, oh, she's trying to do this, or they got that in the back of their mind. And that's the furthest thing from my radar. Sometimes I will go on a Friday night or Saturday night chat where people are hanging out and having fun and allude to, what do they call it? Oh, eggplants. Yeah, I'll say something about eggplants. And everybody thinks this is so funny. But I'm just goofing off. I'm not really interested in any kind of activity like that at this phase of life. I got too much responsibility to be trying the waters with somebody like that. I did date in my 40s, but that's all over with. Lesson learned. So if anybody says that Myra is a cold fish, say, yep, she is. She knows it, and she's okay with that because that's her choice. But I'm going to put some of this lotion on, keep my hands conditioned. It's been a rough week, and I need some of this lotion. It's brand new lotion. It's honey scented. Looks lovely. I don't go out of my way to do fancy nails or hand treatments, but I do need to do, basic moisturizing, and I do basic nail polish at times, but I don't go over the top with any of that. I thought for a moment about doing it. I did a couple videos on some nail care that I'd received, some press-on nails, and occasionally I've ordered it, but I've decided I'm just not doing it. I am what I am. My hands are at the level of conditioning they're at for my age, which is natural. And I'm not the kind of person that would ever get plastic surgery or anything like that. When I started getting the turkey neck in my mid-50s, I did look into it for half a minute. Of course, at that time, I wasn't on camera. I wasn't thinking about being on camera. And even after I started my YouTube channel, I wasn't thinking about being on camera. But my turkey neck, it turns out that I checked in my 50s, and it was $120,000 for the surgery then. So I was like, wow, I'm not going to put enough money into getting rid of a turkey neck when, I could buy a nicer home for that money, or do repairs, or, send somebody to college with that kind of money, just for vanity. Just not doing it. I've got a couple of people I graduated from high school with. They're just looking too perfect. And I don't know that it gives them more opportunities in a lot of ways, but I don't know how many people respect it. It's just like, oh, okay, um, your beauty's more important and, all this other stuff. But, I guess rich people are like that. People want the boat that fits inside their yacht. Excuse me. Because evidently having a yacht is not good enough anymore. So I like to hang around people that are real, and I like being real. And I think God meant for me to be some plastic surgeon's easel. I don't think we should all look alike. I think there should be diversity on the planet with the human species. Although I don't mind putting on a piece of jewelry. That's all fun. Okay. Just gathering up little pieces of paper from here and there all over my desk while I talk. You all can talk to each other, network. Let's see. Oh, I wondered what this was. This is an old telegraph. This piece of ephemera. Pennsylvania System Telegram. Let me see what it says. Really, it's kind of blurred. I don't see what it says on the back. I thought it was a piece of trash, but it's a piece of ephemera. So I'm going to fold this up and put it in an envelope and protect it. Looks like it has a little bit of moisture damage on it. So let me get a pen. So Johnny comes on at 8 o'clock or 8:30. I forget. And he has a morning show. It's now called Table Talk. Him and Mark from Two Old Guys Vintage and Resale have been doing this talk show in the morning for about a month. It's for resellers. So if you have an eBay store, or you sell on YouTube, or you have Poshmark or Etsy or whatever, go check them out because they'll help tell you how to sell and how to survive in the YouTube streets. So that's good. Johnny was talking about 8:30. Yeah, Johnny was talking about going to lives and people got negative, so he'd just leave. And he mentioned somebody that he went there and he just left. Well, the thing is, negative things happen to people, Johnny. I mean, really. And sometimes you got to talk to people about what's going on. And I think the person but anyway, this person had $300 of stuff that they'd sold and they hadn't been paid. They hadn't been paid. So I think if I were in that situation and I'd had all these auctions and I'd sold that stuff and the people ghosted me about it, I think I'd bring it up. I mean, maybe it's considered negative talk, but, that's, that could be a chunk of change for a family. And I don't blame them for bringing that up because that's just, I know that there were a couple of people that auctioned together that they ended up with packages and packages and packages. Okay. Of stuff that had gone back for 6 months. And when they showed it to all of us, I was just like, oh my gosh. But, not only the financial impact of somebody reselling online, and so many people have ghosted them on their products and on their sales. It's just like I'm sitting there as a customer thinking, there's probably stuff in there that I bid on that I didn't get because that person bid and then didn't pay for it. So, and all the time, that I invested as a buyer to be there at the auctions. So, even if they offer it again and I get it at a good price, or maybe, better price than I would have if the person hadn't ghosted them and not paid, it's still a lot of time for me to be at auctions. A lot of times anymore, I can't go and stay for the whole auction. For a while there, I did get myself in a little bit of trouble because I didn't know some of the rules that work, because everybody says their rules up front and their rules at the end. If you come in the middle, sometimes you don't even know how to bid. And so I've been in situations before because I came in the middle, didn't know how to bid, didn't know when they were invoicing, didn't know any of that. So I don't want to not come in the middle if I've got, 15, 20 minutes, but I also don't like to not know what's going on. So, so I don't know what the resolution is for people like me that hop around. But, I always pay my invoices. And if I can't, I email the person and say, you changed your policy to 24 hours and, I need 3 days. Because, like this weekend, the first of the month is on Sunday, So I might need Monday or Tuesday to move stuff around. So, transfer stuff or whatever I need to do. So that's how it rolls around here. So I just email the person if for some reason I can't pay in 24 hours. And I love I don't know if Ella still does this. Ella. But her deal, well, no, and Donatella Bartolino, it was 2 days to invoice, 2 days to pay, 2 days to ship. And I think that's very, very nice to have it 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. So since I'm new, I didn't want to promise that at first, but this week I was going to combine. Good morning, Ashley. So good to see you. See, now there's Ashley in here and Ashley. What I was going to do is I was going to wait until all 3 auctions were done. And I did one before Memorial Day weekend, several days before that. And then I was going to do another auction at Johnny's. And then I was going to do another auction on Friday at Grandma's. And I thought, I'll just wait. I couldn't wait. I wanted to get that stuff boxed out and out of here as soon as I could. So I went ahead and did that, and everybody was fine with it. All my invoices, I was just astounded. All my invoices were paid within like an hour. The latest one was an hour. There was one that I sent out. Boom. She paid it like in 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, I love this person. I hope they buy from me again. But, it's just wonderful when that happens. I had one, and the lady, I hope she's okay. I started asking around about her, and then I stopped because I did realize that she had said she had cancer. And after I started getting unhappy about the invoice being paid, I realized, hey, this person could be in real trouble. And so I stopped. Asking about her, and I'm just waiting for her to pop up. And I don't care about the invoice anymore. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell her, don't worry about the invoice. I just got really worried about you as a person, if you were okay. Because, it's very different at selling on YouTube with people you hang out with than to buy from Amazon. Because that person, those sellers in Amazon, the individual ones, they're human too, but it's like you don't know them. And, if I'm buying from Walmart's a big corporation. I'm not worried about Walmart personally, they, well, I don't want to get political, but they abuse their laborers and, this and that. And their laborers are abused regardless of what happens with your stuff. Just saying. And so I don't like to buy from them. I occasionally do go to Walmart, but I don't like to. But, it's a very different experience, because you want that other person to be happy when you're selling something. But if it's somebody you hang out with, that you network with to, on your channels or on your to sell with, it becomes different. You become more like a family and you are concerned. I mean, you still don't want to be roadkill. You still don't want to be used. You still don't want to be run over. But at the same time, you know that person. You usually know their family. You know their pets. They know your family. They know your pets, if you have any. I don't have any. But you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more personal in YouTube auction sales than it is just selling on eBay, because you don't know that eBay customer unless they come in from somewhere, like you might have family come in and buy stuff from you, or people from your social networking. But it's very different on YouTube auction sales. And I'm just now, even though I've been doing this for years as far as buying, I'm just now realizing the impact of all of that. And I've made mistakes. Definitely have made mistakes, but now I'm wiser. I'm more experienced, and hopefully things will go smoother for me now. Good morning, Road Call Cabin. I am so glad that tree missed your outhouse. Oh my goodness. Road Call Cabin has built a cabin on his land out in the woods, and every time there's winds or floods or storms, Roll Call Cabin is out there. He's with his chainsaw and he's cutting trees out of the way of his road or around his cabin. And I just find the lifestyle fascinating. He has, lives late at night or, in the evening after dark, where he shows his campfire and we all just sit around and talk. It makes me want to eat marshmallows and have s'mores, but it's just lovely. And I was wondering today what you do with that lovely maple and birchwood and all of that. I mean, poplar, you can use that for firewood, but I mean, you could even make stuff out of the poplar. But I know you said in one of your older videos that I watched the other day about how you had this little fire in a rock formation. You found this cave. You said that day you made cabinets and stuff, and I wondered if you took that maple and birch and stuff and made cabinets with it. My grandmother's name was, her real first name was Birchie or Beachy, and she had a sister named Leafy. And so my great grandfather was into trees, but I don't know. Actually, I don't know what he did for a living. That would be interesting to find out. But they lived, well, I would say small townish, but a small town. They lived in a small town, kind of in a rural area. Yeah, I just, I've got I got a place up north and I'm considering having timbered. Of course, I don't own it solely, it's airship property. But, you could have it timbered and just, whoever owns the sawmill just buys it, and the timber company, they just buy it from you. And then a lot of times, where I'm from, there's a sawmill owner that also is a timberer. They're not always the same. Sometimes the guy that owns the sawmill is not the timber company. But anyway, but after you sell it, you don't have any say into what happens to the wood. So I don't know if storing the wood and using it to make other things or selling it individually to artisans is a thing that people do anymore. Maybe the lumber company does that. I'm having another bit of honey. I got these from Victoria. And it's probably a mistake for me to open them this morning. Okay, cool. I'd like to see what, especially that Maplewood. When I see these people redo Victorian and Edwardian furniture that's made out of maple or these other wonderful rare hardwoods, and they splatter with chalk paint, I just want to cry. I've got an old buffet. Israel or Palestine? Well, good morning to you too. Well, we're all God's people, and nobody deserves to be genocided. But the Jews are God's chosen people. And I feel that Benjamin Netanyahu feels that he has no choice, because what's happened over the decades and over the centuries, but mainly over the decades, let's say, the Palestinians just hate the Jews, and the Iranians just hate the Jews. I mean, every Friday night, the Iranians chant "Death to America, Death to Israel," and that hatred is not going to stop if Israel lays down its arms and stops attacking. There will be retribution either way. So it's just like if somebody came in my house and told me, I'm going to kill you. And if I get away, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to kill you. That person has threatened to kill you. And then they came in and you wrestled them to the ground, and the police came and they got arrested and they went in jail. And they didn't go to jail for long. And then they came out of jail and they came back and tried to kill you. I mean, at a certain point in time, you would have to realize I'm going to have to kill them, or eventually they're going to kill me. And that's the situation Israel is in, not only with the Palestinians, but the majority of countries they're surrounded with. Yes, it keeps getting bigger. And now that Trump has gone and talked to the Iranians, I think Trump is realizing that they're just using him to kick the can down the road. And while he's there, while he's talking, while he's negotiating his quote unquote deal, they're all preparing to kill each other still. And, I believe in the Bible. And I believe these things are going to happen, whether we want them to or not. And it's highly unfortunate that so many lives have been lost. I believe they are doomed. And I really would like to ask a lot of people don't connect these dots, but I'd really like to ask those Texas ranchers that provided the red heifers. One of the trigger points for this whole conflict started with the red heifers. Do you all know what I'm talking about when I talk about the red heifers? You people that came in decided to be trolls and bring up politics in my chat. Yes, since 1943. I agree with that statement. You probably know about the red heifer since you mentioned 1943, so I'll just go ahead and talk about it. In the Old Testament, when they built the tabernacle, they had all these procedures. And actually, I'm reading Leviticus right now. in my Bible studies. And they had different animals they sacrificed for different things. And one of the things that they would have to do if a priest sinned, now we all sin. So if one of the Levites, well, the priest sinned, for him to be cleaned, he had to have the ashes of the red heifer. And there's different things they added to the red heifer ashes. But and all the sacrifices, the animals had to be without blemish to redeem their sins. So if you brought in a goat, and that goat was sick or already half dead, it wasn't much of a sacrifice because that goat was going to die anyway. So God demanded in the Old Testament, under the Old Covenant, that the animals be pristine, that they be without blemish. And so the Israelis had not had temple sacrifices, to my knowledge. Now, you could probably verify this, Kitten, since the Romans destroyed the temple in 70 AD or 73 AD, somewhere along there. The temple was destroyed and it was never rebuilt. So at that point in time, animal sacrifices went away, or because the sacrifices were supposed to be made in the tabernacle originally, and then the temple, and then they lost the temple, and they had a tabernacle, and they had another temple that Herod built, that Jesus went to when he was a child, and that temple's been gone, and he predicted that it was going to be gone. So when they were making replicas or other Arks of the Covenant, other materials that went into the temple, they were recreating a temple, I think maybe in Shiloh. But anyway, that's where the last tabernacle was, because David had a tabernacle and Solomon built a temple. So at the location of Solomon's temple and the temple by David, or the tabernacle, is where they have the red heifers. But the gentlemen in Texas, the ranchers, donated these red heifers so the Jewish people could start making animal sacrifices again for when the temple came into existence again. Well, all of this upset everyone in the region who's Muslim. And I'll tell you why. Because they believe that the temple is where the Dome of the Rock is. And in order to rebuild the temple, the Dome of the Rock would have to be destroyed. And right now, the Jews are not even allowed on that Temple Mount to pray. Only Muslims are allowed up there. So anything that's mentioned, anything that the Jews do religiously or their government does that indicates that it's going to threaten the Dome of the Rock, and they're going to utilize the Temple Mountain, just like getting red heifers that are without blemish, causes tension. And the terrorists who attacked Israel on October 7th cited the red heifers as one of the reasons that they attacked. Wasn't the only reason, but yeah. So these Texas farmers caused the region, in part, to explode. So, am I for Israel? Yes, I'm for Israel. Am I against the Palestinians? No. But I understand why Benjamin Netanyahu is doing what he's doing, and is foretold. And even if I had an opinion that was different, it wouldn't matter. Even if everybody in America had an opinion that was different, it wouldn't matter. It's foretold in the Bible. It's going to happen. And there's nothing I can do about it. Matter of fact, in the Old Testament, King Saul was ordered by God through Samuel to get rid of the Amalekites, and he did not. And the Palestinian people, in my belief, in my opinion, I don't have DNA tests. I don't have Oxford or Harvard or a cited paper for this from research studies. I don't have any of that. This is my opinion from being a Christian and a Bible reader. It's my opinion that the Amalekites are at least partially, the Palestinians are at least partially descended from the Amalekites. And it's more complicated than that, I know, but this Amalekite spirit, and oh my goodness, should I say it? Nephilim spirit is in that entire region. And I think that they are doomed. And not only because of the religious reasons, not only because they keep retaliating and retaliating and retaliating against Israel, no matter what happens, which doesn't give Israel much of a choice, they also are spiritually doomed, in my opinion, because they've rejected Christ and they are in a region and have DNA from tribes and nations that always oppose Israel and always were trying to destroy Israel. If you want to do some more reading, read the book of Esther. Yes. And, they can't, there are many degrees of people that feel differently about the Dome of the Rock. Some of them feel that it could be moved and some not. But the thing is, here's this terrorist group, who will go unnamed, but we all know who it is, that just exploded at the obtaining of red heifers. So those Muslims certainly feel the Dome of the Rock is mandatory and can't be moved, can't be rebuilt. So it's, so there's some that would be okay. Let's just rebuild this somewhere else. This is not worth all of these lives. It's not worth all of this conflict. And now, the country that Trump is talking to has capabilities that can just completely destroy, well, not just the region, but the planet. It would make, if anybody uses one of those weapons, it affects the whole planet. It makes everybody's life more toxic. And I used to live in West Virginia, and it was funny when West Virginia started not having so many coal mines. They were still getting acid rain from the coal mines in China. So I was just like, oh, okay. Because when you're on the same parallel as another country, I don't know who's on the same parallel line as Israel. But, the winds also move things north and south too. So it's not like radiation where it's going to travel is predictable. When they had the accident in Japan, there was things that were showing up on the California coastline that were radiated for quite some time. They probably still are. Things coming towards the California coast that have radiation in them that probably polluting the water. But it's not something I can solve. But I do try to be aware, and I pray for the Palestinians, but I also pray for Israel. For the longest time, I belonged to this organization, and every time they met and they prayed just for the Palestinians. And that bothered me because the Israelis are God's chosen people. And I don't think that it's right just to pray for the Palestinians. Of course, they need to be prayed for. But of course, Israel needs to be prayed for. If the Israelis weren't hated so much, there wouldn't be an issue. I agree with that. There has been for decades now none of the Arab countries that would take them in. It was like they were on, their situation was far worse than Native Americans. We made reservations for Native Americans. In 1924, we passed laws about the immigration of Asians. I mean, America has a history of hatred too. But Palestinians had to stay in Palestine, and none of the Arab countries. I mean, they could have alleviated this. What I find ironic is they wouldn't take them. They wouldn't help the situation. They just made it more and more of a powder keg. And now the same governments are saying, that are condemning Israel for what they're doing. They knew what the situation was, and they're their own people, and they did nothing. Well, I have my opinions, and I don't live in fear of being called any kind of label. Let me think. Ben Cohen from Ben and Jerry's was kicked out of a meeting in Washington. I think it was last week or week before, where Robert Kennedy was speaking. Ben Cohen is fully Jewish, and he was there in protest of social programs being cut in the United States to fund bombs that were killing Palestinian children. Now, no one can say Ben Cohen is anti-Semitic because he's Jewish. I mean, there are anti-Semitic Jews, but he's not anti-Semitic. So I think it's the whole thing of overreacting. Well, that's just the thing. If I have 3 family members and one of them is not taking out the trash, and I say, that family member is not taking out the trash, then, and I don't mean by trash, I mean literally trash that's building up in the kitchen and the bathroom and the bedrooms. I'm not talking about people as trash. No way, shape, or form am I saying that. But they're not doing their chore. And I say, well, that family member is lazy. I don't hate that family member. I just do not like what they're doing or what they're not doing. Doesn't mean I hate them. So if I say, I'm against Iran sponsoring terrorist groups and killing Jews and other people they don't like, I'm not saying that I'm completely against Iran or its people. I don't hate them. I'm just saying what they're doing is a problem. Matter of fact, I have made several people locally unhappy. I had a problem with my washer and dryer, and this gentleman came in who was from a very fundamentalist church. And I was doing a Bible reading, and in my Bible reading, I was saying that the Muslim people are brothers and sisters. They were all either genetically or spiritually descended from Father Abraham. And so the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims all are brothers and sisters. And this man was very unhappy for me saying that. And he didn't really fix my washer right. any other criminal is called criminal. Huh. Well, come back tomorrow and we'll discuss it more. And that's English report. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I come live at 7:05. I've got a telephone call.